And just like that, the beef between Stash Power and I was squashed. We decided to unite for the greater good of beating the Birds and St. Al's. Let's jump into some action and see how that goes. All right, here we are the first lap. We got Sam here. He's got a burrito bag and he's got knobbies on. First lap, going into the first corner, Sam lights it up. And at first I was going to go for it. You can see my power spike real quick. But then I realized, dude, he's got knobby tires on and a burrito bag. I don't think he's going to stay away. Noah goes with it. So we come around the start-finish straight. And what happens? Sam pulls off. It was just a big, big trick. Right here, that is Stash Power. And he goes after Noah to get into that break. Little surprised just because it is still the first lap. I figured once Sam pulled off, Noah would just kind of come back to the group just because it's so early. But they fired up and keep rolling. With Stash Power and I both being self-proclaimed sprinters, the idea here is to take turns going after moves. We weren't going to be throwing out any attacks of our own, but basically just trying to control some of these breaks that have gotten away from us the last couple of weeks. And I mean, two sprinters working as a team, I don't know how well this is going to work. We'll see. But right before the race, Stash Power told me that Carson was also willing to work with us and he was going to go from the gun. He's super strong. So the idea is to get one or both of us into that break. So watch right here in the rear cam. We're coming around. Like I said, this is lap number 2. And here comes Carson just flying up to that break. All right, knowing that this is threatening, I need to go with this if I want to be in that break. So I immediately react. But once I realize that I have a couple birds on my wheel, don't want to drag them up with me, and the fact that Stash Power and I are supposed to be working together, I realize I can just sit up right here. With this, I was fairly stoked because, I mean, mission accomplished, right? We got a Bird, Carson, and Stash Power up the road. And that is a move that can stay away. No one really knew that Stash Power and I were working together. So me being at the front of the race, I slowed up. There's a couple of birds. They slowed up. The team that really needed to drag that back is St. Al's, but they only had a few racers this week instead of their typical 4 or 5. A bit later, Kelsey from St. Al's gets on the front to try to bring it back. I jump on his wheel. My job at this point is just to control everything, keep it close. And if I can get a free ride up to the break, great, but I'm definitely not going to pull it back myself. Right here you see Kelsey didn't quite make it from St. Al's, but Clint gets on the front, puts in a little bit of an effort. So I jump on his wheel, make sure to keep it all close here. So you'll see on the right, there's Stash Power. He unfortunately fell out of the break. So at this point, my mindset shifts a little bit. That break's gone. I mean, you got Carson, super strong. Noah, he can stay in a break. So my thought is one of us needs to control the field, make sure no one else bridges up to that break, which at this point is going to be super tough. And then the other person should hopefully be able to recover a bit, get ready for a field sprint for at least one of us to get 3rd place. Before the race, I told Andre, or Stash Power, either one, that I'd be willing to work for him, try to get him a result. And for me, that was still the plan. I talked to him about right here at this point of the race, and he told me that he was fairly tired, but figured that if I could work for him, he could recover a bit and at least work on the field sprint. Here's Ben Bird. Dude, the break is way up there, but this kid is liable to go catch him. So I definitely want to follow that move. It's a threat. Ben ends up going off the front for about a lap. And then right about when it starts getting pulled back all together, what do you know? Perfect time to attack is when it comes back together. The Georgia's guy goes off the front. Like I say, at this point, we're racing for 3rd. Definitely don't want this guy to break away and solo to the finish. I think he's kind of a diesel. So I'm going to pull it back. No one's going to pull through. I pull up the entire field with me. But that's okay. Like I say, at this point, working for Stash Power and bring it back just within reach. And then we have a couple people pull through here. All right, jumping ahead. So Carson, Noah, they've lapped the field at this point, and they're kind of just hanging out in the field. And Stash Power says, "Hey, let's help Carson." And I question him like, "Does that guy need help? Dude, this is super strong. He's right there on my left." But yeah, so Stash Power wants to help him. I'm good with it. I mean, I don't think he really needs help because I think he can win on his own. But at the end of the day, whatever. I've been killing myself the whole race trying to keep it under control, which I don't even know if that was really effective or not. I don't know if it would have changed the results if I did nothing and just recovered and hoped for a field sprint. But here we are. Let's jump to the end of the race.
Let me take a pull.
All right, this is 2 laps to go. I wanted to take a pull here, hopefully draw one of the birds out, Noah or Ben. That way, once they came with me, I could just sit up, let them get on the front, waste some energy on that second to last lap. Hopefully Carson and Stash Power would have a little bit of a clearer sprint to the line. Didn't work. The only person that came with me was the Mercedes rider here. Once I saw that, I just sat back up, let everybody catch. Let's jump into the last lap. All right, here we go. This is going to be a little bit uneventful from my angle, so I apologize. I just taken that flyer, didn't have much left in the tank for the final lap. So keep in mind, Carson, Noah, they had already lapped the field, so it's kind of a race for first and second between them. And then for third, we have Ben, Clint, and Stash Power. About right here, I sit up. My race is done. I stopped pedaling. Hindsight, I wish that I would have just put in a little bit of effort. I probably could have got 6th or 7th. Whatever. It is what it is. Let's watch the race leaders here. We're going through the last couple turns. I'm going to zoom in. Going into the very last turn, we have Noah on the front, and he goes down. Then Carson, Ben, Clint, and Stash Power. And that's how the race ended up. But guys, keep in mind, Noah, he had lapped the field. So he'd gone down. Everybody that had passed him, excluding Carson, have to do basically another lap in order to beat him, right?
You good, Noah? Shoot, bro.
What does Noah do? Well, let me tell you what I would do. I would start crying, throw my bike in the back of my car and go home. No, Noah, dude, ripped bibs, bleeding. He stands up, grabs his bike, and runs across the finish line to seal second place. Such a beast. That's so awesome. So like I said at the beginning, what happens when you unite 2 sprinters together in the same race, try to help each other out? And I guess what you see here is kind of what you get. I personally don't think anything that I did contributed to Carson's win. He's so dang strong that I think he would have won either way. And so for me, it was kind of a whatever race. The silver lining here, guys, the beef between Stash Power and I officially squashed. Excited to see what happens between him and I as the series goes on.